Hey guys, how you doing? Hopefully you're doing okay. I'm going to start off by giving you an overview of the article. It's going to be pretty thorough what I give you, and there is a link in the description. And I'm also fairly likely to go on a bit of a tangent, ask myself a few questions, and perhaps you're interested in the questions that I ask myself. Perhaps you're not, but let's start off with an overview. You know what? I'll put the handbrake on before I start with an overview. I need to give you a trigger warning. This is a very grim subject. Could have been worse, but pretty grim. And the prime suspect, if you like, is the weirdo that you see in front of you. His name is Helmut Kolb, 85 years of age, from Port Orange in Florida. And on Thursday, he was out shopping at a grocery store. The store is called Winn-Dixie. Maybe that's a chain in the Port Orange, Florida area. I don't know. He was shopping and he saw a mother with her 8-year-old daughter, and he decided to have a little conversation, a little chat with the mother and the 8-year-old girl. And he went up to the mother. The mother assumed that he was a nice elderly man, perhaps a little bit lonely, but wanting to have a nice cordial discussion. And that indeed appeared to be the case somewhat. This guy, Helmut Kolb, complimented the young girl, the 8-year-old girl, on how pretty she was, she is, how well she danced. All rather cordial. Some might say a little bit weird. I would say a little bit weird. I don't like complimenting children's looks, you know, boy or girl. It's always struck me as a bit weird. But anyway, it is. If it is weird or not, it's certainly a common thing to do. But anyway, so he was complimentary to the in regards to the daughter, and then they parted ways. They went their separate ways up until a moment later, a minute or two later, when this guy, 85-year-old Helmut Kolb, decided to run after the mother and the 8-year-old daughter whilst they were still in the car park. He ran up to the mother and said, and I'll read out this specific quote for you. He said, "Hey, I want to make a deal with you. I'd like to buy her for $100,000. So yeah, literally that's what he said, according to the mother. He went up to the mother, said, "I want to buy your daughter from you for $100,000. I will give you $100,000. In exchange, I take away your 8-year-old daughter." And I don't really want to complete that thought. I don't really want to complete that sentence as to why he would want to purchase an 8-year-old girl. What would be his sick intentions? I mean, we just know that they're going to be the worst, don't we? Now, perhaps this is just a moment of madness from this elderly man. Maybe he's suffering from dementia. Now, if you were to think that, and I guess I have thought that, I would think that that's been very, very generous, too generous, too generous. This guy has done this before. Back in 2018, he approached another parent, a mother perhaps, but he made an offer to buy a child back in 2018, that time at a Walmart. So that's what the article tells us. It doesn't give us any more information in regards to that previous incident, and really doesn't give us any more information other than what I've relayed in regards to this most recent incident, which again happened on Thursday. But he's already, I believe, a convicted sex offender. He was already on probation, already banned from having contact with children after the 2018 incident where he tried to buy a child. So look, I've relayed pretty much all of the details there. So now I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent. Maybe you want to stick around, maybe you don't. But if you do, then, you know, tell me what you think in the comments. Make a comment. But here's kind of what I'm thinking. Well, I mean, most of what I'm thinking is pretty obvious. This guy is clearly sick, right? He's clearly sick. Probably, my guess would be on multiple levels. I've got to think there's clearly severe sexual perversion going on. Yeah, I mean, I would think he's a pedo, you know. That would be my assumption. He tried to purchase an 8-year-old girl. My assumption, I suppose there is room for it to be incorrect, but my assumption would be that there's sick sexual desire there, you know. So there's that. So he's clearly mentally ill, but I am wondering how mentally ill. I mean, is it as straightforward that as okay, he's a pedo just like many other people? Because unfortunately, there are a lot of them. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they're in any way normal. They're not, but there are a lot of them. There are apparently. What's my point here? My point is, I'm wondering if it's more than that. It's more than just that aspect. I think it is. I mean, he tried to purchase a child, and that's a very unusual thing to do. In the West, by and large, parents do not sell their children. Now, let's be honest, let's be real. That is something that does happen in other parts of the world, even when the parents are extremely reluctant to sell their children. It happens. Girls are sold into marriage, you know. I've made videos about articles that I've read of young girls. Can't remember the ages. I'm going to say 6 years of age, 8 years of age, sold to grown adult men in their 40s, in their 50s, sold into marriage. And I remember one article where a father had instigated the sale of his young daughter, let's say an 8-year-old, and he faced a lot of backlash from his community, which I welcome, that backlash. I think this was in Afghanistan. But even though he faced a lot of backlash from his community, even though he was ridiculed and excommunicated from his own community, he said that he probably will sell his newborn baby. You know, not because he wanted to, but because out of poverty. So whether or not that's a good enough reason, I guess that's subjective. But, you know, I remember reading the article, and what he was saying, whether it's true or not, is that he believed that he didn't have enough money, the family didn't have enough money to buy grain to eat to survive. So one option would be to sell a child to be able to get money to feed the remaining aspect of the family. So there is some level of reason, some level of logic. I'm not saying it's good logic or good reasons, but, you know, there's something other than madness. I know I've gone on a real ramble here, haven't I? But, you know, isn't this kind of indicative that this guy has severe mental health issues if he thinks he's going to get a normal response from asking a mother to sell their child? I mean, surely he knew that this would be the outcome. If he had any ounce of sense, then he would know that this is what the outcome would be, that the mother would be disgusted, the mother would report the incident, he would get arrested. He was already on probation. So I don't know what my point is here. So I am wondering how effed in the head this guy is. But I guess it's all academic in a way. Is it? I kind of think it is. But anyway, I thought this was a bit of thought-provoking. I don't think my thoughts are very clear. I don't think I've articulated my thoughts very well. But this is the third time I've made this video, and it's not going to get any better, so I'm just going to leave it at this. So I'm going to wrap things up, guys. If you do think I've done a half-decent job, I think I've done a half-decent job at best. I haven't really. I've a little bit below half-decent, but anyway, it is what it is. So if you do think I have done a semi-decent job, please do like, comment, subscribe, share the video as you see fit, and take care.